Hello, Jim Rogers. This is our second in a series of Teaching with Zoom short sessions to talk about various ways to hook up the Zoom and teach various types of classes. The first one we talked about the simplest setup I could think of, which was just simply using your laptop. This one is the second simplest, and that is just using your cell phone. The difference is, and the reason I started with the other one, is the fact that to use your cell phone, there are a couple of accessories you're going to have to purchase. And basically, it's some way to hold the cell phone while you're doing your work, you're teaching. The cell phone has some advantages. First of all, it's very portable. Secondly, the front and back cameras both can be used, and you can move around freely with it if that's what you need to do. But other times, you need to have your hands free to do your teaching or demonstration or whatever you're doing. So you'll need to have some way of holding the camera. So there's a short investment, not very much money. Here's a couple of pictures of items that I have purchased, and each of these are in about the $10 to $11 price range. So I thought I'd show you a couple of them in life and how they will facilitate you being able to teach more readily. So let's switch to another view real quick here. Okay, so I got a camera and I need some way to hold it. First thing I showed was a picture of a device that looks much like this. And it's a very convenient little setup. My phone will sit in it like this or like this. And there's a place in the bottom where I can actually attach my power cord. So when I'm doing FaceTime and other kinds of talk, this is generally what I end up using. It can be adjusted, easily packed up, and put away. But for a meeting, you're going to need some way to hold the phone, and this is one of the devices that I use a lot. This grabs the cell phone like this, and it locks down, so it opens and it closes to various different sizes. It can be put in this position, or it can be rotated 90 degrees. On this end and on this end are 1/4 threads, which allows it to attach to any kind of a tripod. First things I had when I first got started actually was not something even this complicated. I took a piece of brass pipe, tubing I should say, cut off a piece and put my phone against that and held it in place with rubber bands. I dug out a little pocket here so the wire had a place to go, and I fitted it so it would screw onto a tripod. So there's simple things that you can make yourself, but a tripod is a good thing to have, and here is one version. I use this a bunch. The head can be tilted to a lot of different positions, and the phone then can be screwed onto this. Long thread. But once this is screwed onto here, I can position this a lot of different angles. Actually get it square too. This is just one version. There's a lot of other ones. Here's something like what's in the picture I just showed you earlier. This piece folds up. You could use it handheld if you wanted to, but basically it's a nice little tripod. The company Movado makes a lot of accessories for cell phone stands and so on. So the tripod opens out. We have a ball head on here, which will be adjusted in any position. And when the camera is in a holder, like one of these, it can then be screwed onto the ball head. This particular one has, it's a different one I showed you before, but you can adjust it in any position you want, and the camera then fits in like this. The nice thing about this one is not only can I screw on a holder for my phone, it has an extension rod which then can be attached to the top of this. So this can be like a mini tripod, put it on your desktop I know if I set it upright, it'll go out of the camera position. But this gives you some additional height. Not investing more than about 10 or 12 bucks. This set cost me $14. And it contained the tripod, the stand, and this phone holder for about 15 bucks. There's a lot more that you can spend, but that pretty much does the job. So that's a simple way to get started. You just need something to hold on to your phone for you so your hands are free. You can also set up something so that you're looking in one side, or you're being viewed from one side, and you can arrange an easel or something behind you, flip to the back camera to show a picture of some device or something else. Here's a second variation of that you might also find to be almost as simple. Next step up might be to have two cell phones. By having two cell phones, you have one perhaps sitting here focused on you, and you have a second one preset someplace else looking at some material or some items that you want to show. All you need to do is to log both of the phones separately into your Zoom meeting. And in speaker view, when you're speaking with one, that camera will show full screen. When you're speaking using the other, it would show full screen. Be cautious to turn the volume down on one of the phones and turn the microphone off. Otherwise, the sound coming from one will feed back into the second and create a feedback loop, and that's a sound quality that you do not need. I'll show you in a later video section some other accessories that can make that problem even less. A third variation, your cell phone, a second cell phone, and if you will have an assistant, sign in and make them a co-host. They then can switch from camera 1 to camera 2 and back and forth for you. All you have to do is say, please switch to the other camera. And as a co-host, they can actually make that switch for you, and you wouldn't have to even bother with that. So, cell phones, a good, easy way to go. We all have them. All we need is some way to hold it, and perhaps even share a second cell phone and do a little bit more complex. If you're going to do something from distance, set up your cell phone on your base, turn the camera on, and go stand on the other side, record a few seconds, and then come back and take a view of those recordings. The purpose of which is to find out where is the optimal place to stand so that you are in the screen, filling it, being able to be on screen, and then a little blue tape on the floor or a mark so that you can occupy that space again if this is something you need to physically demonstrate. I wish you good luck with your Zoom meetings. This is the end of number 2. The next setup in the next video. Good luck.